So this would be Tuesday, October 6th with the regular class as we are getting into, the Silver Wars is continuing at this point. Book report comes due tomorrow, and we're going to get to our poetry terms in a moment. With those of you who are playing the live version of today's game, be careful as we get into our poem to not get yourself too worked up and lose points. I understand poetry is exciting, but when you do that, then I have to start charging you points. For some reason, a lot of you have already started losing points. Because we are just making choices. So, fingers crossed that we don't have to be too mean to you. And if I do have to be mean to you, it's on video, so we're all good. With this poem, we're going to finish out this one as we go through it, because we started getting into it, but we've not finished with the explanations about how the things make sense and all the joy stuff like that. Let's go with Aaron. I didn't think. What's the
what?
I'm thinking. All right, let's do it this way. What is a stanza?
A stanza is basically a paragraph in poetry.
Nice enough. Paragraph in a poem. And in this one, Luke, how many stanzas do we have in this particular poem?
9.
Is correct. As we're going to go ahead and get into it, Channel, thank you for volunteering to read the first 4 stanzas that are up there. And then Jeremy, thank you for reading the second 5 stanzas that are up there. And then we'll go over it again here in a moment. Hang on. Did you get the food?
Yes.
Yay. Did you see the little essay that's out there?
No.
It's on your desk. Okay. Writing the essay from top to bottom, filling it in, that gets you 5 points. Doing the Simpson sheet gets you 5 points. Then getting the little white sheet form gets you 5 points. Fill. Big words. White sheet sign gets you 5 points. So all that together will get you 15. And then if it's not done tomorrow, I'll bring you back for lunch. Okay, good luck.
Big words.
I know. There's like 5 letters in there. Zach.
Wait, so if you get a detention, you just get 15 points by doing that?
That's the whole point of a detention, is to get points.
Do you reset?
It's a gift. So no, it just adds whatever you have, but you can't take a detention unless you're in single digits. But once you're in single digits, you can take one. But you realize you're writing 2 essays, and I email your parents saying you're a horrible child.
Oh. But the parents part, I can't do that. I can't.
Yeah,
Nope. Forget about it.
Right, well, we're getting ready to read a poem. So, let's go ahead and have you begin, Channel.
In just spring, when the world is mud,
Luscious.
the little lame man whistles far and wee. In Edinburgh come running from marbles and
Piracies.
and it's spring, when the world is puddle wonderful.
Nice. Who's my second person?
The queer old balloon man whistles far and wee, and
Betty Nisbel.
Ben Disbel come dancing from hopscotch and rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed balloon man whistles far and wee. Nicely
done. I'm going to read through it one more time real quick, and once again, you're going to find my characters, when it's taking place. We'll do the quick review to get us caught back up. In just spring, when the world is mud luscious, the little lame balloon man whistles far and wee, and Eddie and Bill come come running from marbles and piracies, and it's spring, when the world is puddle wonderful, and the queer old balloon man whistles far and wee, and Betty and Isabel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed balloon man whistles far and wee. And I think what's gotten kids worked up and losing points today is the idea that your learning and understanding is going to be so complete. When we first started the poem, you knew absolutely nothing about it. And being halfway through, you already understand so much. And the idea that knowledge is this close, it just gets you all tingly on the inside. I understand sort of how learning works. So baby steps. As we get into it, Pharrell. When is our poem taking place? Pharrell.
In spring.
Where's your evidence to take place in spring?
In just spring.
Nice, well done. Is it taking place at the beginning, middle, or end of spring?
The beginning.
And Garter, where's the evidence is taking place at the beginning of spring?
It says when the world is mud luscious.
Nice, well done. One of the hints is when it says mud. Wait, let's back up. Garter, because what season comes before spring?
Winter.
And what's on the ground in winter?
Snow.
And what happens to the stone when we get to spring?
It melts.
And what happens to the ground when it melts?
It's like the puddles.
Nicely done. Thanks for playing my game, Carter. So one of them is it talks about it being mud luscious, and there's one other hint that tells us what part of spring it's going to be in, besides the mud luscious channel.
It's like the beginning
And how do we know? Where's the hint that says it's the beginning?
because it's when the mud.
So the same answer she gave. I liked it, but you just smiled more when you said it. That was very tricky of you. Weekly.
It says Puddle Wonderful
And how's that help us?
because the snow melts and it makes puddles.
Nice, that would also work. And I also put the fact that it says just spring, so it's like just into the very beginning of it. And then we also have the mud luscious, and we have the puddle wonderful. So it's at the very beginning part of spring we get in there. Because at the very beginning of spring, when kids have been cooped up all winter time, and all they can do is sit inside and stare at the TV. And then finally it's nice enough to go outside, and it's not too cold, and you have all these mud puddles on the ground. What do the kids do in the mud puddles?
Jump.
And that's when we have the mud luscious. Those are kids who are demonstrating why the mud is luscious, because that is definitely a lot of luscious mud with those adorable little mud babies. Then, Tommy, we introduce our main character. Who's our main character?
The balloon man.
Nicely done. What is a balloon man?
He's someone that sells balloons.
Nicely done. The guy that goes around and sells balloons, and kids come running out like, I want a balloon. They get all excited. And we have, what's the famous movie that's connected to balloon people? Nicely done.
Up.
Down.
There's up. Not down. That's where your B points are going. It's completely different. See how quick and witty I am? Man, it's so hard, baby. Then, with our balloon man, we have an adjective describing our balloon man. And Bale, what is our adjective describing our balloon man?
Lame.
Lame. Do you remember what lame means? It does not mean dumb and horrible like parents. I know that's what we can say about our parents now. That's not the actual definition of lame. If you're lame, you can't really be on my cross-country team. Although we do have a couple lame girls right now. We're only kind of on the cross-country team.
And those strange people?
They are strange. That would not keep them. I would definitely not kick kids off my team for being strange. That would be hypocritical. Andrew?
Not cool and popular.
No, but another good guess. Yeah, I was never cool and popular when I was a kid, so I'd not hate on kids for that either. Rebecca? Is correct. When they are crippled in some way, because if you're on the cross-country team and one of your limbs don't work, it doesn't do us a whole lot of good. Hang on. Yes, you need to send them down to you? Will do. Alright. Motoki! Hero! Zeno needs you. Take your stuff down there to him.
That was Mr.
Take your stuff. Yep. You get to go learn with him. Alright. Bale!
So does that mean I'm lame?
Are you currently broken on one side?
Well,
Slightly. You're slightly lame. You're not as lame as Hannah Wanger because she can't run at all because of her. She's more lame than you. So there's definitely a certain level of lameness to you. Does that help?
thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, dear.
I have a crippled friend.
That would make you partly lame too.
Me?
Or well, you said I have a.
No. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
That was confusing. Hater.
So if you wear knee brace, you're slightly crippled.
Slightly lame. Correct. All right. We have our lame. Oh, and our balloon man. He needs to make money by selling the balloon. The problem is he doesn't move very fast. The whole lameness. So because of that, Grizzle, how does he attract the kids to come to him to come buy the balloons?
He whistles and we.
Nice, well done. The whistling. The far in we means close, small distance, and far means far away. And so the whistling, the far, and the we. Tweedly, tweedly, whistle. Then we get down to this part where we have the kids who get all excited, and we're going to figure out the whole Eddie and Bill part, because I know it is. There's no spaces in there. Did the typewriter run out of spaces? It did not run out of spaces. There's actually a reason for it. But the two boys, Eddie and Bill, were playing games. Zach, what's one of the games the boys were playing?
Marbles.
Do you know what marbles are?
You flip marbles.
Nicely done. Also, if you lose them, you go crazy, apparently, because people say you've lost your marbles. It's a good thing. And so this is before we invented real games. Kids would go and play the game where you take a marble and throw it at a little glass ball, you throw it at another glass ball, and you're like, this is a real game. And to realize that there's things like football and baseball, like, oh no, that's a real game. And then the other one, piracies. Do you guys know what piracies are, if they're playing at that?
Oh, actually, never mind.
Have you guys heard the word piracy?
No.
Yes, it's
Jeremy?
like a digital thing.
Digital piracy?
Yeah.
Close. In digital piracy, what are you doing with people's stuff if you're a digital pirate?
Stealing.
Nicely done. So, piracy comes from what word?
Pirate.
Because what are they playing at?
Stealing.
No.
Piracy.
Stealing.
Oh, I was about
Hard.
to say that we're playing pirates.
Hard.
It's rated R.
Good job. So, I didn't hear you. So, yeah, they're just playing it being pirates.
She's
The
like,
problem
it's
is,
rated R.
Eddie and Bill, who are in the process of playing pirates, because it's not rated R, it's rated shh. And marbles, all of a sudden they hear the balloon man going by, and what will they do when they hear the balloon man going by?
Go crazy.
Hater?
Go crazy.
Well, use the poem. What does it say they do? Evidence.
Running.
Nicely done. They go running to the balloon man. This is why their name gets smashed together. Because all of a sudden they're out there playing like, arg, pirates, and arg, marbles. And all of a sudden they hear the woodly, 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 woo. Like, ah! And Bill is always afraid that Eddie's going to go buy the last red balloon because everyone knows the red balloon is the best one. So Bill's being like, Eddie! And just punches him because you have to knock him down first. Maybe just steal the red balloon. And then they take off running, like hitting and slapping. My red balloon! No, it's my red balloon! And they go running. And so all of a sudden, because while they're running to the balloon man at the same time, and running and slapping each other, they become almost one creature. So instead of Eddie and Bill, as they go running, they become Eddie and Bill. One big ball of hitting, kicking, spitting things, trying to go and get the balloons. Jeremy?
It looks like edible.
It does, right in there. Learning.
He has a black eye.
Then, I know, Bill's winning that one. Seriously, computer, stop fighting. There we go. Then we got to the second half of it, and once again, Inman, who is our main character?
The balloon man.
The balloon man. Now we have a different adjective describing the balloon man. And this is the one that seems to make kids giggle, which we're going to get into here in just a moment. Adam?
Queer means like creepy and like happy all the time.
The queer means odd, different, unusual. It's one of the things that makes people giggle because nowadays people say queer, it means dudes that like dudes, girls that like chicks, and like, that's where the giggling comes in. Or just the yelling out loud, trying to get rid of all those extra points. I know, I feel the same way. And so, originally, the meaning of it just meant someone that was different, unusual, not like all the others. And so here they're referring to the queer old balloon man. It just means lame, the happy. And he'd probably also be like a, hey, come buy some bananas. And he's walking along like, you're a little on the odd side.
That's me.
A little weird. See, I told you all of a sudden poetry's getting you guys all worked up. Learning, it's all tingly on the inside. Bring it down, or you'll never learn again. Oh, and he's doing the whistling. And he attracts the attention of the two girls. Wait, what are the two girls' names?
Betty and Isabel.
Betty and Isabel. Nicely done. These two girls. Well, do you guys know what hopscotch is?
Yes.
I suck.
Yeah, the thing with the squares and the hopping and the jumping. And then a jump rope is a rope that you.
Jump over.
It's right there in the name.
What?
You saw that coming. Hopscotch, jump rope. Now, Betty and Isabel, girls, not boys. So they're not going to run and fight. So what is it the two girls do?
They stick together.
Using evidence from the poem.
They dance.
Pharrell,
They come dancing.
they come dancing. But this time, they, once again, their names get smashed together because they're all excited as they're holding hands. And they're like going, la-di-da-we-da. And so they become one thing, and they go running up there because if Betty buys the last red balloon, Isabel's not like going to punch or anything like that. She's just going to like write something hateful on her, Facebook wall. So it's okay. Here, I couldn't find a good picture of two girls dancing, so there's my two girls dancing. Use your imagination. So that's Betty and Isabel as they go dancing and they're sort of smashed together as they go. Dancing, nothing, fighting. Not very good at dancing. Then the poem continues. Bring down your enjoyment. we get to this reference where all of a sudden it says it's spring and they call the balloon man goat-footed. This is what is called an allusion. A-L-L-U-S-I-O-N. An allusion is a reference to something that you're supposed to already know. The problem is, you don't already know it, so I have to show you. An allusion is a reference to this guy, Pan, who is what's called a satyr from Greek mythology. He was a Greek god, and you might recognize him from the Narnia, the closet you go through, and Percy and the lightning bolts. Harry Potter, they jump around in that one. Hercules, the cartoon from Disney.
Oh, yeah.
So anytime you have the top half of a man, bottom half goat, not bottom half horse, that's a whole different creature, but bottom half goat, it comes from this guy, who was the type of satyr, was the type of creature they were called. Pan is the most famous of all of them. Pan's job in Greek mythology was to protect the forest. He was a forest god, a forest protector. What he did is he protected them by using these little pan pipes, these little hoodly hoodly. And what he would do is he'd wait until hunters were walking through the forest, like, I'm gonna get you. And then he would sneak up behind the hunter using the pan pipes, and he would begin playing them. Hoodly 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 hoo. And when he did that, it was hypnotizing. And all of a sudden, the hunters were like, ah, and would drop all of their weapons and just start walking along behind him. And he'd go along dancing, hoodly, 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 hoo. And the hunter's like, and he'd lead them deep into the woods. And once they were deep enough into the woods, he would suddenly stop playing. Hoodly, and once he stopped, all of a sudden the hunter would wake up. What's going on? And they'd look around, realize that they were lost, they had no weapons, and then Pan would send like a bear or a wolf to go give them a hug with its mouth on their head. And so that is how he would go and kill people, which is where we get the words panic and pandemonium from this guy. Because if you were in the woods and suddenly heard music behind you, you're like, ah! And you just take off running because you knew that Pan was coming to kill you. Mr. Broad, yeah, that's a good story, Will. Why are you telling it? Because there's a reason why he works this reference in the poem. Why does the poet suddenly refer to the balloon man as being goat-footed? See, that's where the learning comes in. It's so wonderful. Zach?
This might be a bad answer because like he wants to hurt children.
No, but a good guess. Not quite the hurting of children, hopefully, but I can see where you would go that way. Aaron?
He blows a whistle.
And can kids resist the whistle?
No.
It's the same idea.
Oh, okay.
So as he's going along, and the balloon man blows the whistle, the kids are like, balloons, balloons, and they come running after it, just like Pan. So it's that little reference between the two of them. The reason I like this poem, aside from the fact that it starts off super confusing, and now you look at it like, it's about kids who want to go buy balloons, and it's springtime, and they get excited and go running up to them. Yeah. That's pretty much it? Yeah. That was easy. Yeah. And so that's the idea of how learning works. The better thing about this poem, it's connection, it's a metaphor for something you guys have today. We're using the balloon man in place of something you already know and understand. But you have to realize it's not a balloon man, but a different guy that travels the neighborhoods and plays music, and kids can't resist the music. And when they hear the music, they fight each other to come running up to come buy it from them. It's that same idea, Alana.
The ice cream.
No, it's cone ice.
The idea of the ice cream man.
Cone ice.
Still, so much learning. I hear the learning everywhere. So much learning. And so it's the same idea of the ice cream man. As you hear them come running up, everything in that poem is supposed to be the ice cream man. The idea that when you hear them, the kids go running and fighting and you don't care and all that stuff. Which is also, by the way, where the whistles far and wee, where it says whistles far and wee. And up there you have whistles far and wee, whistles far and wee. If you're at home and you hear the ice cream truck coming and you don't go outside and you can hear it coming, get closer and then get far away, he was trying to give that same impression throughout the poem. That's why he spreads the words out. Whistles far and wee, whistles far and whistles far. And it's the idea of that truck as it gets closer and then gets farther away. And also the ice cream man sometimes is a little on the odd or creepy side. I thought he was going to kidnap. Same idea. And so it's that same idea of that connection. Good stuff. Now we're moving on. Now, we're going to take a look at notes. I know a lot of your guys' out loud learning kind of slowed us down, and so I'm trying to get stuff into you. So yes, this is where your notebook comes in handy. Nicely done. And you are turning to the entry you made earlier on the homework side. Nicely done. Yes, you do have a date and title on there on the correct side of your notebook without me even having to tell you, kids who pick up slowly on hints. What we're going to do is we have 11 terms, because we're done with poetry next week. Next week's the end, and we can move on. You're not done with me. We have other learning. It's just the end of poetry, and we have other stuff. We're going to have 11 terms that you know. We're just going to officially write them down and give you an example to go along with it. First one, simile. We've already dealt with simile, so it shouldn't be too new to you. Well, actually, while we're at it, you should already know the definition. This is the poetry terms homework. You just put it into your right there, so you're just writing it down.
Yeah, I know.
Just writing
We
it.
do the definition?
Yeah, we're doing it right now. What is a simile? Bale?
The comparing of two nouns using micro.
You nailed it. Compares to, it's almost like I had you memorize a little poem to go along.
Yeah.
Compares two nouns using like or as. Simple as that. That way when it comes time for the test next week, because we have our big test next Friday, it has to happen eventually. Plus, it doesn't have to be hard. You've been paying attention. You should be fine.
Yeah.
You get to use your notebook. So that's why you're writing it down. So as long as you have this stuff written down, it's right there in front of you. For the example, I have an example. If you don't like my example, you're welcome to use your own example. I went for, my shirt is as pink as a baby's slapped belly. You can do whatever you want, as long as it's going to be an example of a simile. So you write either mine, or you can do your own. I personally like slapping baby bellies and listening to the sound. There's a little rippling goes outwards. Hater?
Why would you slap a baby's belly?
Well, because punching them's mean. So if simile is our first one, what is the simile's cousin?
Metaphor.
Boom. Metaphor is number 2. Metaphor, very similar to simile, because what does a metaphor do? Alana? Not how many?
2.
Compares two nouns. The one thing I'll change is compares two nouns, saying one noun is the other one. You're just going through there and saying one thing is the other thing. Your braided hair is a snake on your shoulder. Something like that, where I'm saying one thing is the other thing. For me, I went for, my pants are the darkness of my dead soul.
It's Greg.
Obviously not these pants. So something along, if you don't like the darkness of my dead soul, then you can come up with your own. The baby's tummy was a small wave after I slapped it. Yes, dude. Oh, you're just waving at me. That's good fun. Number 3 goes back to Friday of last week. We spent all period Friday learning about something new that we introduced to you that's going to be on here. What's our new thing, Luke?
No.
We haven't learned about preposition. That wasn't on Friday. That was a different day. This one has a homework connected to it that's coming up due on Thursday. Nicely done. Idioms. One of the things we had to learn with idioms is a common phrase with how many meanings? 2. One meaning starts with an F. Figurative. One starts with an L.
Literal.
Nicely done. Or whatever word you tried to say. Common phrase with 2 meanings, figurative and literal. Adam?
What are we learning next week?
Poetry.
Oh, I meant when poetry's done.
Short stories.
Oh.
We'll pick up some stuff from there.
Don't.
Can you read the
For your example, it's whatever you did for your idiom for the homework coming up on Thursday. So whatever you're doing for that one, whether it's, stay cool, stay frosty, pick up your room, whatever it is. My dance moves are hot. What's that? Early bird gets the worm. Whatever you chose for yours, you're going to write that down for your example. If If you're not sure if yours is one, you can ask, and I can let you know. But hopefully you would know by it now. So just hopefully you're working on it.
Nope.
That's why I keep trying to remind you about it
Isn't
on
it
Thursday.
Yeah.
What? Channel?
Is yours deep waters one?
It would be. You're correct.
Skating on
Is
thin
Penny
ice.
Oh.
God's one?
Ready? You want to throw it
Oh
to you?
my god, this
Wait,
is
wait,
funny.
wait.
I love chicken fingers.
I like skating on thin ice.
What's due tomorrow?
Book report!
What's due on Thursday?
Yeah.